This is Business and Economy Network.
Don't be discouraged. Do you know it is actually the last bunch of keys in the bunch of keys that open the door? Meaning, you will try, but don't forget, with perseverance and persistency, definitely that door will be unlocked. Welcome to your program. My name is Peter Nwoche. Wherever you are, those of you in Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ilori, Kano, Kaduna, those of you watching us via the online channels, and those of you outside the shores of Nigeria, I want to say thank you so very much. You are watching Business and Economy Network. My name still remains Peter Nwoche. For the program rundown today, we have for Company in Focus, we have the Chief Executive Officer of Mona's Product Limited, a company doing very well in the manufacturing of edibles in Lagos, Nigeria. For Straight Talk, we have the Executive Secretary of Nigerian Content Development and Management Board. This is a government agency saddle looking at local content in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria. Then for Spotlight, we have the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Tonimas Group Nigeria Limited, doing very well in the oil and gas and also lubricants subsector of Nigerian economy. They are far away in Aba in Abia State. Relax yourself, brace up. The program is deep, it's incisive, and it's going to be very educative. I'll be back after this time out.
In Nigeria, the housing deficit currently stands at more than 17 to 20 million units. The housing shortage poses significant threats to security, social health, and economic well-being. To this end, Revolution Plus Property, a fast-growing real estate company in Nigeria, is leading the line in affordable housing all across the country and beyond.
We are indeed honored to play a vital role in bridging the housing deficit in Nigeria by providing homes through innovation, timely delivery, trust, and integrity. These are our core values.
In 5 years of existence, Revolution Plus has 5 offices, 29 estates, 3,600 landlords, over 10,000 direct and indirect employment. Revolution Plus is not just providing solutions to the housing problem in the country, but making housing affordable and within reach of the average Nigerian. Revolution Plus Property, affordable housing.
Mona Product Limited was established under a decade and today stands as a top brand of soybean edible oil called Ardent Soybean Oil, with Mr. Monday Tukedo as the Managing Director Chief Executive Officer. Going by the recent level of food insecurity and high rate of poverty in Nigeria, Mr. Monday saw a need to be met in the agro-commodity sector. His primary aim is to bridge the gap between the quantity of edible oil locally produced and the quantity imported into Nigeria, considering the high level of edible oil consumption by Nigerians. Mona Products brought about Ardent vegetable oil, which comes in various sizes and meeting the needs of Nigerians irrespective of class. The firm, though relatively young, has been able to, over the years, contribute its quota to the success and development of agriculture in Nigeria.
What actually influenced the decision to go into this the manufacturing of vegetable oil? I saw a write-up in the newspaper, I think that was 2015, that Nigeria imports about 1 trillion liters of vegetable oil annually, and Nigeria consumes 1 trillion liters of vegetable oil, and 700 of it was manufactured in Nigeria, but 300 was imported. So my intention was to close that gap of the imported oil. So that was my major motivation to venture into the industry. And basically, because of the fact that you have the raw materials in the country, we focus basically on the soybean vegetable oil. So we know that the challenge of importation, the challenge of exchange rates will be eliminated in the course of the business. So we decided to go into the products that we have raw materials in the country. Concerning the raw materials, you know, there's a lot of soybean oil in the country, and you know, in Bauchi, Nasarawa, you know, Kaduna, and some part of Kano, and the sourcing of it is we buy it from the farmers we crush it and then refine and get our soybean oil. I can assure you that Nigerians love Adan soybean oil because we go extra mile to make sure that what we present to the country is of the highest quality. We made it point of duty from the onset that we will produce quality vegetable oil that is consumed in Nigeria, that can match any imported product. So that is why we don't compromise on our quality and our input process. As a matter of fact, we have a 5-year business plan. And in that 5-year business plan, we don't even intend, it's not even to have a farm. What we plan to do is to continue to encourage indigenous farmers to continue to farm while we specialize in the processing aspect of the job. Because if we load ourselves with a lot of things, go into backward integration of having a farm, it's going to be something that will probably may distract us, because managing a farm and managing the front line of the business will be much tasking. So what we do, we make funds available to the farmers to be able to farm and harvest at a very large quantity that we can buy and process. So all parties, both backward and front players, will be happy in doing business together.
The Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board was established to enhance and develop value chain system in Nigeria with focus to the oil and gas sector. Also to drastically reduce the nation's being short paid in business of crude oil in and around Nigeria. N.C.D.M.B is to monitor Nigerian content compliance by operators and service provider. This will also in terms of accumulative spending, employment creation and source of local goods, services and material utilization on project and operation. In a chat with the Executive Secretary of the Board, Engineer N.C.D.M.B Wabote, on the expense of the Content Intervention Fund, he said that there was steady progress in the disbursement of the single-digit interest loan fund set aside to help enhance growth of Nigerian businesses.
Very interestingly, when I came on board in 2016, one of the things that I set aside with my team to do was to develop a roadmap and a strategy, which we call a 10-year strategic plan. Because I believe that any establishment without a plan of where we want to be it 4 years, be it 8 years, it becomes an organization of proposal, where everybody walks through the door with brighter ideas, and then you get derailed. So we sat down as a team and said, look, we needed to develop a 10-year strategic roadmap. It took us almost about 6 months, bringing in KPMG to help us, bringing in external stakeholders, both the operating companies and the service companies, to discuss their experiences and what they expect of N.C.D.M.B. So we eventually developed a 10-year strategic roadmap. And since then, we have been conscientiously implementing the plan. So we are not an organization of proposals. We are an organization with a very clear plan of where we want to be. So that is the plan we are working towards. In 2000, of course, out of that 10-year plan, you then have the short, medium, and long-term activities that you must do to realize the plan itself. Because first of all, we evaluated where we are as at 2016, and then where do we want to be in 2027. So we have that clearly mapped out, and based on that, we derive our annual plans on things that we expect to do, and that's exactly what we've been trying to implement. And this has got about 6 pillars and about 4 enablers in terms of what we want to do, be it capability development. We can talk extensively on what we are doing in that regard, be it enabling business environment, we can talk extensively what we are doing in that regard. So all those pillars have, of course, enablers, and we focus on those pillars on a yearly basis to achieve our 2027 goal. So the remaining part of 2019, haven't gone through half of it. We continue with the development of our industrial parks. Currently, we are working very hard on 2 of them, and we believe that in first quarter 2021, 2 of them will be ready as such. So we continue that development. We're also building a head office complex in Yanagua, which is a 17-story building, which we started in 2015, just about when I came in. And we believe that before the end of the year, we're going to move into that building. So that in itself will happen this year. In terms of staff development, we have mapped out very clear training programs, because part of the strategic plan was that we had to evaluate every staff of the organization to establish their competencies and then develop a training plan for their next level as they progress through the organization. So that we're dealing with, we're focusing on and dealing with appropriately. Talking about capacity development in terms of training, before the end of the year, we must complete all our trainings for most jobless youths, as it were, building their capacity, building skills. So a lot of training programs are going on currently. An example is that we are training about 200 electrical engineers in Lagos. We've done 50. We are getting into the next 50. About 40 sea time experience that we are giving to mariners. That training is also going on. Human capacity development effort is also going on. So we hope to achieve the target we set for ourselves, as it were. And the other bit again is that we are focusing on expatriate quota arrangement within the oil and gas industry. Only yesterday, I had a press conference, and I was very clear when I said we've been able to achieve 80% of expats reduction in the operating companies. Now, some people, of course, got what they read twisted and said, oh, this is not possible. We're not there yet with the service companies. We see a lot of those infractions that we're dealing with in conjunction with immigration service and the rest of it all. But for the operating companies, go to Shell today, about 85% of the staff are Nigerians. Go to Nigerian LNG as an example, about 90% of the staff are Nigerians. Go to Total, go to Exxon. These were organizations that had almost about 60% expats before the enactment of the law. But today, we've driven that to almost 20%, as it were. So it's a huge achievement. For the service companies, we're working hard, but the challenge again for us is the sinusoidal nature of the business. It's not constant, it's not spiking, it goes up and it comes down based on oil price and activities. An example is, for the past 3 years or so, we have not taken any major FID, final investment decision, on a major project. So even when you've built those capacities, where is the job? It doesn't exist within the value chain. And then the job comes, and then most of the service companies want to finish those jobs as well. So they bring in experts, but we are focusing on it as such. But for the operating companies, we make bold to say, and we challenge Nigerians to check that fact. We've reduced it just to about 20% in terms of even more than that in the operating companies. If you talk about the $200 million Nigerian Content Intervention Fund with Bank of Industry, it's been hugely successful. As we speak today, only yesterday we had a review meeting with the management of BOI. We have disbursed almost about $160 million to Nigerian companies. And before the end of September, I can assure you that almost 180 million would have been disbursed, as it were. So it's been a phenomenal success in terms of helping Nigerian businesses to access funds at single-digit interest rates. That has been fantastic. And the reason why we also chose BOI is that BOI manages the fund on our behalf. So they interface with the contractors to make sure they do all the necessary due diligence, financial analysis, and to be sure that this money will be paid back. So normally most of those guys who get the fund get a guarantee from the commercial banks to be able to access the fund. And of course, BOI is owned partly by CBN. And if they are going to default, of course, BOI have to trigger its mother company to say, look here, these people are defaulting, and then our money is safe. So it is a very successful scheme. In fact, BOI is asking to say, look, we have more applicants. Can we apply for more funds in order that we can service? And we are looking at that as such. So it's been a phenomenal success, in my view.
Tonimas Nigerian Limited stands as the #1 lubricant producing firm in Nigeria with a quality that is second to none and a long-age track record of excellence for over 5 decades. Chief Anthony Enukeme is the Chairman Chief Executive Officer at Tonimas Nigerian Limited and also the President of the Lubricant Association of Nigeria, LUPAN. Chief Anthony is well experienced considering he started the firm from the very scratch even as a fuel attendant and has grown the business over the years. The firm has God Almighty to thank for its achievements so far. At Tonimas, products are of high quality and have helped to increase the lifespan of vehicles, machine, and power plants. On plans going forward, Chief Anthony made it known that he will continue to help the needy, as money spent on the less privileged is what makes you wealthy and not money stored.
Remember, the money you spend on people is the money you have. The money you stored is not your own. If actually you want to be happy, it is only when others are happy, then you'll be happy. I am a member of the Catholic Church, and Catholic Church have seminaries, and a good number of seminarians might not have enough to take care of them. Today, I'm a member of the Knights of St. John International, and I'm their Grand President. I've also been conferred with the Knight of St. Gregory from the Pope, and also the first Vice Chairman of our Diocese Pastoral Council. So I am part and parcel of the church all over Nigeria. And it gives me joy that the Pope have seen and have been given the opportunity to become a member of the Knight of St. Gregory. And members of the Knight of St. John have given me also the opportunity of becoming there. I first became the worthy president of 445 and eventually the Grand President of Owerri Grand Commandery. I'm still serving as the Grand President of Owerri Grand Commandery. And so I'm so happy I am serving. For us to be happy in life, you have to see others feel happy about what you are doing. Then you know you will be happy. Like I said, the money you spend on people is the money you have. That very one you stored, if any, is not your own. So while working on it, you help people, make people to be happy. At least when you pay people's school fees, if you have the money, you have immortalized your name. If you build a house for poor people, you have immortalized your name. If you put money in the bank and the money is there, one day a story will come. You can't just tell people, I have money before, when you have not invested in anybody. So my candid advice is that if you have the money, can you invest on people? Let people be happy with you. And I'm not asking anybody to steal in order to know. If you are doing something and 1 kobo can come out of it, invest. Make people happy. And when you know you have about 4, out of that 4, use 1 or 2 on people and leave 2 for yourself. And life continues. Life continues. And one day, you will be called to give an account of your stewardship. And you will not have opportunity again to spend the money. People who do not work for that money will come and squander it. Wherever you find yourself, you cry. So while we are still living here, make do with what you have to make people happy. I don't say you should be a spendthrift. I don't say you should be a prodigal son. I don't say you should invest all you have. But the little you think you can, do it.
This is Business and Economy Network.
You cannot run away from the shadow. Yes. Oh, yeah. Stop there. Huh? Where do you think you're going? Huh? Like I told you, I am your shadow. Pay me my money. Sorry, landlord, I'll pay you your money. No, for me.
Are you not tired of being a tenant? At Revolution Plus, we offer affordable housing in our 29 estates across Nigeria. Contact us now on +234 906 000 0991 or visit www.revolutionplusproperty.com. Revolution Plus Property, affordable house.
Well, Vian, I want to say a big thank you so very much to you. Like I did say at the beginning of this program, I said, don't be discouraged when you have a bunch of keys. Definitely one will open those doors. In life, you will try and try. It might seemingly look as if it's not working, but just keep trying and keep moving. It will definitely work. With your commitment, with focus, perseverance, definitely, you will be a success. I am doing my own part. Be a success and be passionate about what you do. And that will bring you a whole lot and you'll smile. On behalf of Production Crown, I want to say thank you so very much. Tomorrow is another day. I will see you again, same time next week. But remember this, always pray for our leaders wherever you're watching. God bless you.